Salute everyone. I hope you can hear me. I just wanted to say a few things. Bear with me. Yeah, I'm just watching from afar. I'm in Egypt right now, coming to you live again. I might do this every Sunday, even when I'm traveling, especially on Sunday. I know that's a day that we're all off, and that's the day we go to church and try to learn something and to the mosque or etc. in America. And I know you didn't learn nothing in church. I know you didn't learn nothing. Or they didn't tell you anything valuable that's going to get you out of the situation, even at the mosque as well. So I'm taking charge of this post myself to speak to you all and give instructions. Give instructions. Here to give instruction. What can we do? What should we do right now? I just wanted to speak on the fact that what I observed. I observed a no kings march. No kings march. And maybe some of you have participated or did participate in a No Kings March. Can y'all hear me? Let me know if y'all can hear me. Can anyone hear me? Anyway, I'm gonna go and continue whether y'all hear me or not. Just wanted to share a few things. I saw a lot of action yesterday. It seems exciting just to see a lot of action against the government of America, just action in general. Whenever someone opposes something and they take action, whether I'm in agreement with them or not, I just like people taking action for what they believe in. Yesterday in America, there was some action taken against Trump. It was so-called, I guess, No Kings Day. Well, I don't know what they was called, No Kings. It's like we're protesting because, not we, I'm just saying in general, Americans are protesting because they think Trump is acting like a king. He's a tyrant. He's authoritarian. He's taking power and doing what he wants, a dictator. All these names that people are calling the president of America, Trump, and they hit the streets by the millions. By the millions. Now, exciting. They hit the streets. They should be hitting the streets. White folks should be hitting the streets. Black folks, we should be hitting the streets, but for another reason. Also for no kings, but not the no kings that they mean, that white people mean. White people mean no kings because they're talking about Trump is becoming a king and a tyrant over them, et cetera, against their wishes, against their interests. No kings. Now, this man is a tyrant? What do you mean by Trump being a tyrant? Is he any different of a tyrant for white folks than he is for black folks? Or what do you mean a tyrant? Because the title king itself is not a bad thing. They're just talking about a king acting in the way of a tyrant, oppressing people, etc. Black folks, we should be marching for no kings, but no kings, not talking about Trump against the American government, period. The American government is a king against black people. Democrats, they're kings against black people. Republicans are kings against black people. Because no matter whatever the situation is, we are just subject, a minority subject. And whatever they want as being the majority, they get. They are kings. All of them are kings. Not just Trump being a king. Any person in authority in America, Democrat or Republican, over black people, they are kings. And we're just subjects because we are a minority. Bear with me. I want to read something right quick. It's a book called, you need to read this book if you're into political science, called Democracy in America, written by Alexis de Tocqueville. I just want to read a quote from him. He said, the authority, this is a paper I'm reading. Got this from a university website. Said the authority of a king is purely physical, and it controls the actions of the subject without subduing his private will. But the majority possesses a power which is physical and moral at the same time. It acts upon the will as well as upon actions of men, and it represses not only all contest, but all controversy. I know no country in which there is so little true independence of mind and freedom of discussion as in America. Now, you'll find this book, Democracy in America, in any political science class you take. He's the most studied author that I know in political science. But since we are political activists that don't know any political science, we probably never even heard of the man. He's the one that popularized the term tyranny of the majority. Tyranny of the majority. And that's what this article is about. The fact that the majority will always be kings and tyrants over minorities. This is a white man talking now. So if you are a minority, you're automatically under a king. The white majority or whatever majority you're under, they are your kings. And you can't do nothing about it because you subscribe to that democracy. Tyranny of the majority. Look that up. I'm going to read something from Wikipedia. I got it from Wikipedia's April 2024 edition. They didn't change and edited Wikipedia. Probably edited because we've been going over this for a few years as human rights policy officers in our conferences. But I'm going to read tyranny of the majority. The tyranny of the majority is an inherent weakness to majority rule, in which the majority of an electorate pursues exclusively its own objectives at the expense of those of the minority factions. This results in oppression of minority groups comparable to that of a tyrant or despot, or you could say a king. So this is what their political science says. That if you are a minority, you're automatically going to be oppressed. You're automatically going to be under tyranny. That's automatic. Because the majority don't want what you want. So they're going to get what they want because they're a majority. So it's like having a king over you, a despot over you, oppressing you. Whether it's Democrat or Republic, we've never gotten what we want in our interests served as black people. So yes, we should be marching saying no kings, but we should be marching saying no kings, period. Democrat or Republican. Don't let these people use you to get out there and march by the millions for their interests. So they can replace King Trump with King Biden or King Kamala Harris, still representing a white majority. That's what their political science says. It says if you are a minority, you are under a kingship regardless. You're just subjects regardless. It says inherent weakness to majority rule. It's inherent. You can't get around. That's what they study in political science. But we don't know political science. We just political activists that don't even know political science. Tell me you would go in a medical facility when nobody in the medical facility knows medical science. You wouldn't let them operate on you, treat you, even consult you, because they don't know anything about medical science. So here we go, political activists, political leaders. Don't know anything about political science. If we knew something about political science, we wouldn't even be participating in the American system. We'd be saying no kings. We'd be establishing our own kingship. That's what the right of self-determination is. So yeah, hit the streets, black people, but hit the streets and take over your cities like the mayor of Chicago almost did when he did a ice-free zone. Create black liberated zones in your city, Trump-free zones in your city. Police-free zones in our city, in our community, even if it's a block. Yet we mobilizing by the millions for white people's interests. Their interest in Trump not being the king. I'm interested in Trump not being the king or Biden being the king or anybody in America's system being the king over black people. But see, we don't know. So we just follow behind. They're well-funded. They're just using us. It's controlled opposition. These two-party system, that's controlled opposition because the same hidden hand is behind both of them, controlling both parties. You notice both parties won't go against each other about Israel. They both together. Bipartisan, whatever they call it. Both of them together. For the hidden hand. So don't fall for this, brothers and sisters. Let's stand up. Yeah, let's stand up. Let's say no kings. No kings means I assert my right of self-determination. Black power. We want our own power. Here, the Democrats and Republicans, they killed kings. They killed Martin Luther King. Same government. What would King be doing today? Would he be participating in a no kings protest, or would he be trying to take power for black people? Right before they killed King, let me share something with you. I got a transcript right here. Look at this, a transcript. Dr. King In 1967, Dr. King had a strategy meeting. He had a strategy meeting with his organization, the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, because he felt that they were not progressing in the civil rights struggle. So he said, let's come together and have this strategy meeting. Not a protest, not a march. Let's talk over this thing because what we're doing is not working. It's not working. And Dr. King was sincere. He didn't care about the popularity like some of us do. As long as we're popular in what we're doing, we don't care if it's effective or not. That's why you got popular black leaders going to their graves, enriched off of the popularity that they enjoy. But Dr. King said, forget the popularity. Nothing's changing for our people. So listen, this is what he said. I'm just going to read some of this transcript. You can look it up. You can be surprised that Dr. King said this. He said, we have moved from the era of civil rights to the era of human rights. And first of all, Dr. King said, no more civil rights actions. We can't do anything with this system. Civil rights, we got to keep on protesting. We got to keep on voting and hoping for a change. We got to keep on hitting the streets, marching, hoping that we can appeal to their conscience. That's what civil rights does. He said, no, we're going to human rights. Human rights says we have a right to have our own power. And if you try to deny us, we'll fight for it and do whatever it takes. But we have a human right to fight for it. It's called the human right of self-determination. Bear with, this is what King said. He said, now when we see that there must be a radical redistribution of economic and political power, then we see that for the last 12 years, we have been in a reform movement. We were seeking to reform certain conditions in the house of our nation because the nation wasn't living up to the very rules of the house that it has prescribed in the Constitution. It's Dr. King talking now. Then, after Selma and the Voting Rights Bill, we moved into a new era, which must be an era of revolution. I think we must see the great distinction between a reform movement and a revolutionary movement. That's Dr. King. Yeah, Dr. King said that. Said, no, the Selma marches, the Voting Rights Act, that's not going to cut it. We can't reform this thing. Matter of fact, you can't reform something that wasn't formed for black people in the first place. Why you want to reform it anyway? It was formed when you were slaves. And you trying to reform it while you're still slaves. So I don't want to reform it anyway. But Dr. King, what he meant was trying to make it better, trying to change the system. He said, we can't change it. Let's engage in revolution. Revolution means taking power. Yeah, Dr. King was talking about a nonviolent revolution, but he was talking about revolution. Revolution, Dr. King was talking about hitting the streets, but hitting the streets and taking power. Not hitting the streets, just parading yourself around for some Democrats against Republican Trump. Hitting the streets and taking power. Yeah, we should hit the streets with no king. Hit the streets so we don't want none of these white folks to be kings over us. We want our own power. We want to control Atlanta. We want to control Detroit. And we have a right. That's our right of self-determination. But yeah, it takes massive participation to accomplish that. So yeah, masses come out. But don't come out, march, chant against Trump, go home with no power. You see what Trump's Republicans did in 2021? They went marching. They did a protest. All right. Then after that protest, they went hunting for heads. Ran up in the national building. Democrats already telling you that they can't do anything against Trump. They said, look, we can't do anything but make noise. Well, black folks, that's something that we can do. We have a human right to take our own power. But we don't follow what's sensible. Because what makes sense to us is not natural logic in the first place. And our leaders who know our leadership that knows right won't do right. Nation of Islam, you know right, but you won't do right. Nation of our own, what are you talking about? What did you talk about in the mosque today? If you're in a nation, did they talk about how we're going to take over? Elijah Muhammad said it's more important to teach separation than prayer. Not just talk about separation. How do you separate? And separation doesn't mean you have to go off somewhere, because we already separated in our communities. Just like the Declaration of Independence says when they said separation, they meant cut the political ties that makes them kings over us. That's how we separate. Let's cut those ties, declare our independence. Now that's separation because we already in our own black community, but they just control us. That's why they can come up in our communities and do whatever they want, whether it be ICE or the police. Before this ICE situation, they've been up in black communities killing us, terrorizing us. But we don't even know what to do. So I'm telling you what to do. You have something called the right of self-determination. You have a right to say, look, we declare independence. You can't come in our community. We control this right now. Here's our police force right here. Here's our military right here. You have a right to do that. That's not black radicalism. That's called a human right to do that. Can't stop Trump with no civil rights actions. The top civil rights action organization, the ACLU, at the time of Trump's last year in 2020, his last term, they had already had 400 lawsuits against this man. 400. He left office and came back, and now they still keep suing him. Civil lawsuits. But even on the ACLU's website, did I download that? On the ACLU's website, they got an article called The International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights. It's an international human rights document, but the United States signed it. They ratified it in 1992, meaning that we don't have to keep taking civil rights actions as black people. That means we got a human rights to just stop them and take over where we live, period. Now, ACLU, the American Civil Liberties Union, they published this on their website. So if they're publishing on their website that we have a right of self-determination according to this covenant signed by the United States to take over our communities, why they keep coming at us with these civil rights actions? Enriching themselves off of civil rights actions. Fire them. They're not doing no good for us besides collecting money. Their budget last year was about $383 million last year. This year probably be over $400 million. But no justice in sight for black people. Stop dealing with these useless organizations. All they can get for you is a check if they kill your loved one. But they can't stop this system from killing your loved ones. We got to stop it, period. We ain't responding to it. Our response is to declare our independence, assert our right of self-determination, and you can't come here to kill us no more. I'm tired of us responding. We ain't responding to what Trump doing by marching, talking about no kings. We're going to take over our community. Now we the kings. That's how you respond to that. That's what you have a right to. Under civil rights, you can't stop Trump. They admitted that. I read an article, and one of the participants in one of these parades, I think in New York, I call it parade, they call it protest, whatever. One of the participants admitted, we just out here making noise. We can't stop Trump. He controls the Senate, the Congress, the Supreme Court, all of that. And he's the president. So all these actions are just making noise. You can't do it under civil rights, but under human rights. That's why Malcolm said human rights. That's why Dr. King said human rights right before they murdered him. That's why they murdered Dr. King. He was getting ready to take actions under human rights. Under human rights, United States government is not legitimate in the first place. In your communities, if you really want to stop Trump, get together, form your own governments in your communities. I don't care if it's a block government of your block. Create your own security force. So you can't come here. Put some barricades if you have to, like they did in Seattle in 2020. Took over like 6 or 7 blocks. Even took over the police precinct and the city hall. Because they know where power lies. They know what they have a right to do. You don't know where power lies. But under civil rights, yeah, it does lie in them. Under human rights, you have all the power in the world, black people. You got to join no protests of Democrats. When in the Democratic Party, you're a minority in the Democratic Party. It's a white majority party. They represent majority white interests. It's not for you. What we're going to do, we're going to stand up in our communities, create our own governments, our own block governments if we have to narrow it down to a block. All the brothers out there, I don't care if you're a drug dealer, gangster, whatever, you got guns, you're the security. If any police coming here, shoot on sight. But warn them, say, look, warn them first, say, look, this is an independent zone. We're independent. We're our own military. We can't bring military in here. If you bring military in here, we're going to do what it takes. We have a right to do that. Oh, these gun clubs, you out there training. What you training for if you ain't going to stand up and utilize the training? We ain't ready. You'll never be ready. We got to wait till we're ready. You'll never be ready. Name one point in history where the rebels were more powerful than the army they were rebelling against. They didn't care about that. They had a will to be free. They have justice, or they have die trying. Even the American government, settlers back then said, give me liberty, give me death. Because they're killing you anyway. And they weren't even getting killed like black people were getting killed. But they said they literally be damned if they let somebody be a tyrant over them. That's what they said. It's time for us to do what's necessary. If your leadership is not talking like this, fire your leadership. If your minister in the mosque not talking like this, he's finished. If your preacher's not talking like this, he's finished. Read Isaiah, the first chapter of Isaiah. God condemns preachers that's not fighting oppression. God said, I don't care about prayers. I don't care about these gatherings. Get out there and fight these tyrants. That's why the Bible was full of wars. They were fighting against oppression. There wasn't nobody giving no speeches and collecting money. They weren't holding no marches and collecting money and getting popular. This thing is real. It's not a game. All your organization, your leaders, stop playing with our people. We're going to expose you. You're already exposed because you ain't doing nothing. Besides talking. If you ain't talking about asserting the right of self-determination, taking over your community, putting that military that you keep parading in front of the people like y'all all big and bad. FOI, I can do this. I'm a Black Panther. I got this gun. Show me that you a soldier then. Show the people that you a soldier. Protect their lives. Otherwise, stop playing. Put the uniform down. Take it off. Shouldn't even have to be on this conference talking like this. But I love you all. Somebody, we got to respond. You need instruction. We need to know what to do. Learn about your right of self-determination. That you have a right, Black people, to take over your communities. And if they oppose that, you have a right to go to war. You have a right to go to war. You have a right to shoot if you have to. You have a right to throw grenades if you have to. Whatever's necessary. Who's willing to do that? If you're not willing, then get out the way. Stop selling wolf tickets. Stop acting like you big and bad. You got this organization. Y'all carrying all these guns around. You got these trained soldiers. Y'all can drill right, left, about, face. You can do all this kind of stuff. But you can't protect your community. You can't keep little girls and little boys from getting shot by police. You can't keep a black woman from getting shot at point blank range in the face by police. But you a big bag military. You're a man of God, God backing you, but you scared of the white man. That's the God. You ain't got no God backing you. If you believe in God, why you scared? If you got God backing you, why you scared? If you believe what you're doing is righteous, why you scared? Just get free, get justice, or die trying. What else we got left? Now, some of you all I seen when I first came in the movement years ago, getting old and raggedy, ain't seen not 1 inch of justice, ain't even moved 1 inch towards justice, because we get under these controlled opposition leadership that just usurps our time. We go from young, anxious person to an old member of a useless organization. All of them are useless. Let's get free, brothers and sisters. Let's get free. Let's do what we have to do. Go into your neighborhoods, people. Let everybody know that they have a right of self-determination. We have a right to take over our community. How many guns? You got to count out the guns. How many people got guns? How many people ready? How many people need guns? We're going to assert our right of self-determination. We're going to control this. Democratic Party can't stop Trump. We can stop Trump. Civil rights can't stop Trump. Human rights can stop him. A no king's march can't do anything besides make noise, but a no king's action by black people, we can stop them and create our own kingship. It just takes the willing. You got to be willing to do it. How many people are willing to do it? Or we're going to sit here and complain about Trump. It's called the right of self-determination. Look it up. Many articles, they got a number of them right here. Many articles written by even doctors of law, professors of law, talking about the fact that black people, we are a case study in political science around the world. I got one article here from London School of Political Science and Economics. London School of Political Science and Economics by a white female attorney. She's saying, what is black people doing? They have a right of self-determination. It's called, do African Americans have the right to internal self-determination? She's talking about how we marching all over the place. Yet we have a right of self-determination. So we're a case study. This is what they're studying in school all over the world. And look at them black people. They got human rights, but they're bowing down to civil rights and getting kicked all over the place. That's what this white lady said. So they have a right of self-determination. They can take over their communities, but they sitting there crying in their communities, getting abused, and all they can do is cry. All they know to do is cry. So we're telling you, you can do more than cry, black people. You can do more than protest. Because it's not going to save your life. You have a right of self-determination. The only organizing we should be doing right now is organizing ourselves to control and govern our community ourselves. That's the only thing we should be doing right now. That's the only thing they should be discussing in church. That's the only thing they should be discussing in the mosque. That's the only thing they should be discussing in whatever organization meeting that you're attending. Is how we're going to take over our community, how we're going to govern ourselves, how we're going to protect ourselves and go to war if we have to. Because we've been at war, we just ain't fighting back. I'm going to sign off, but I just had to address this situation because I saw some good action yesterday. I like seeing those people, this action. But let the action be of purpose, and we need to take action, period. Let's have our No Kings protest, but it'll be a No Kings action. Let's get out in the streets by the millions. And we're going to be taking over our communities, not going back going back home and leaving the king in power. These are your human rights. You have a right to do this. I'm not saying to do anything unlawful, radical, and unlawful. Somebody said, well, you're going to get people hurt. We're willing to get hurt. If I know it's right, I'm willing to be hurt. I done been hurt. That's the problem with our leaders. Nobody wants to get hurt. You can't get freedom unless you get hurt. But you got to be willing. Brothers and sisters, I know you're willing. I know you're tired of this. Same old, same old. Now this man is tightening that grip up on you. You're not going to have a chance to react. Sooner or later, you're not going to have the chance to react. So you better react now. Do what's right. Learn what's right, as the Bible says. You got to learn to do what's right. Learn what is right for you to do. So all they teach you to learn what's right is get on your knees, pray, and give the preacher your money. Give your leadership your money. Talk about useless topics. Engage in useless actions. Nowhere you find in the Bible God tells the oppressed people to engage in the actions that we are engaging in right now. Anyway, I'm going to sign out, brothers and sisters. Just a moment of truth. This is the real time and what must be done. I remember somebody had a lecture, I think Minister Farrakhan, the time, and I think it was called The Time and What Must Be Done. We see what time it is. I'm just telling you what must be done. Because nobody else is going to say it. You must assert your right of self-determination. Everybody have a blessed day. It's about, 3 or 4 in the morning where I am. I think it's still afternoon where you all are. But just keep this in mind. Learn what to do. Organize with us. If you see some of the links on the comment section, follow those links. You see our hotline number, call us. Let's organize. Let's do the right thing. Let's do the right thing. Let's stop being used and abused. Let's stop being misled. Fool me once, they say, shame on you. Fool me twice after I know I have a right of self-determination, shame on me. So now you know you have a right of self-determination, the right of self-determination. So if they fool you and you keep on following that leadership, shame on you. And I know nobody wants to be shamed. Signing off, brothers and sisters. Love you all. Salute.